know the deal.
What have you been doing this week? Oh, you need labour for that. Drama?
You know that creepy doll in my wardrobe?
Yeah.
It just fell down.
Something's weird. Something's not right in the planetary alignments this week, I'm telling you. It's all a bit crazy.
Well, lads, that's what we're here to talk about, isn't it? With my
yeah,
baby.
Exactly. All this drama that's been going on this week. Like, what kind of drama have you had, Grace?
Do you want to tell my drama?
No, you, please. Take the stage.
I just had ex-boyfriend drama, really. Just all a madness, really.
Yeah.
Just not the person I thought.
Yeah, it always does be like that.
It always does be like that.
It always
also,
does be like that.
Who likes my new little cosy corner?
I do. If
Thanks,
no one else
Reed.
likes it, I do.
No
What have you got in your
donuts.
hand? No donuts? What have you got in your hand this week?
This week, in my hand, I've got a mojito.
I got one too, girl.
Look at our matching glasses. We've upgraded.
I know.
Let me upgrade you. Upgrade you.
We thought we'd actually take this podcast seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Rather
did that by
than pissing
spending some money on a business investment cocktail glass.
Yeah.
So in a mojito, it's actually delicious. Really easy to make for you guys at home. It's literally lime juice, mint leaves, some sugar, and some white rum, and you shake that all up, and then you put it in a glass, and then top it up with soda water. Mamma mia.
You're so much better at explaining the ingredients than me. Why have I been doing this shit every week?
Because you gotta give the underdog a chance.
You're straight to the point, mate.
I was a cocktail bartender though, I guess. And I was just looking at the glass and listing what I saw, so. Cheers to you,
Can
mate.
I just... Cheers, me dears! ASMR.
That's
Okay.
my bong rip, my insane bong rip. Ready? Here you go.
What? Oh!
420, motherfuckers! So, because of all this drama this week, right? Anything else going on? Any weird things happen to you other than the doll in the cupboard?
Ooh! Yeah, just the drama I spoke about at the start. I've got like shit due in. I've just got a busy week. I did actually go on a really good date, but that was like the positive of my week. But that was like so fun. Like so fucking good.
Yeah? Where did you go?
We went to Tully's Drive-In Cinema.
And you saw Mamma Mia!
Mamma mia! When is your Dol Mio day? Yeah, we saw Mamma Mia, and then we went for a walk over like the hills. It was really nice.
Cutie. So it's not been all drama then. It's been okay.
It's not been all drama. We've had I washed my makeup brushes. It was a good productive week for me. How about you? How's your week been?
Yeah, mine's been crazy busy as well. Not so much
Ooh.
drama, but just like I've seen like a lot of people, and yeah, it's just been intense.
Love that. That's
so
good.
What do you do when things get intense or there's drama, like, or if you're in a bad place?
I call my mates. I call you guys the Ghostbusters. Yeah.
The ex-busters.
That's my go-to. Like, yeah. If I sit alone, it's not the one for me. Like, pardon me, oh my God. My thought process is just not great when I'm alone, so have to be surrounded. How about you?
So this kind of brings us onto the topic of this week, but if I'm in a bad place or there's like a lot of intense energy around me, I'm quite spiritual, so I like doing things like yoga, meditation. Like, I don't think people realize how important these things are. Like, even if you're not into spirituality or a religion or anything like that, taking even 15 minutes a day to just do some yoga, tend to your body, like sit down and meditate just to some music and breathe, how beneficial that can be. And I kind of wanted to talk about it on this week's episode because, especially if like there are younger people watching or anyone watching or listening, these things are just as important as physical exercise is, but it's not promoted as much so.
100%.
So we wanted to talk to you guys today about kind of what we do in our spiritual mental practices, and to basically give you some tips if you're kind of stressed out or you're going through dramas or you've got a shit ex who's annoying you. And you could give these a try and see if they work for you.
Love that.
So
good.
We were both doing quite a lot of yoga during this lockdown, weren't we?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely tried in the like first lockdown, like last year. Just feel like it just wasn't the right time for me. It just wasn't quite clicking. I was already in a bad mindset. It just like came at the wrong time, and I did stick to it for like a couple of weeks, and it just like wasn't sitting right. I even tried like going outdoors in the park and doing it. It just wasn't the one. Also, guys, can I just say, like, the amount of people that come to me and say like, oh, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible. I cannot even touch my toes, okay? And like it feels so good, like I can't even tell you. So yeah, I like proper got into it in this lockdown. I was doing all the yoga with Adrian on YouTube, who me and Jemima are like stans. Like,
she's amazing. She's got like 9 million followers and all her content is free and there's no ads in the middle of it. And like G was saying, like, you don't have to be super flexible. It's yoga's not gymnastics. And the way Adrian coaches you through, it's like it's all about moving your own body, your unique body. So it's not about touching your toes or getting your legs over your head. It's mostly about breathing and taking a minute to just give yourself some attention and to just move all of the kind of like stagnant energy. Like if your shoulders are up here, getting them down and just kind of releasing and relaxing for, like I say, some of them are even like 6 minutes long and tailored to specific parts. So you don't just have to do yoga and do these crazy positions. You might want to do yoga for your neck and just spend 10 minutes just loosening up your neck after working at home at the office or whatever. So yeah, 100%. She's amazing.
Like you do one for migraines, right?
Well, my mum does. I do the upper back, shoulders and neck because of my car accidents that I had quite a few years ago now. But they, like, I think it's like, might be my rotator cuff. It gets like inflamed along here. That's probably completely wrong. But if I do something strenuous or like I haven't been holding my body right, I'll get a really bad inflammation in my shoulder. And it's really intense pain to the point where it kind of turns into a migraine and facial pain. And usually like I'll just smash like ibuprofen, paracetamol, and then feel really sick for a couple days. And since doing like this upper back strength, it's literally, like I say, 10 minutes a day, and all you're doing is sitting down and doing things like this and like just stretching out your neck, and it's improved my injury like no tomorrow. And I used to go to like physios, doctors, have really intense medication, and this has worked better than all of that.
That's so good. I remember, I know this sounds like such a first world problem, but when I moved like into my grandparents, and I've got a single bed that I'm sitting on right now, and we had like a huge argument, and I'm not allowed to get myself a double bed. I don't even want to go into that. And I was just getting like a really, really bad like lower back, like awful, to the point where like it was just affecting me at work. I couldn't like, even everyone was like, walk it out. I was walking everywhere. Okay, I walk loads for my job, like blah blah. And yeah, I really feel like it had something to do with my bed, but whatever the cause was, we don't know. And I really stuck to Yoga by Adrian does lower back, hips and legs, and it is just amazing. And I also feel like even if that's not what you want to target, it's a really great like starting out video, because she explains like, oh, if you can't touch your ankles, touch your calves. If you can't touch your calves, touch your knees. Like, she's just really great. I just can't even promote her enough. She's amazing.
I know. She's ridiculous, and she's so gentle with you, and she can be really funny. And it's not like, what I really like about this type of yoga, because I feel with a lot of yoga it's very kind of for show, like especially when I see things like in places like LA, like yoga's very like of the time and kind of just like cool to do, but then it kind of just turns into a sport, whereas this yoga is very like everyone's wearing
like really cute yoga outfits, and they're all doing like Instagram lives, and they've all got similar like body types, and you're just literally like, that is not what yoga is, like, trust me.
Exactly. It's about being comfortable and, like I said, giving yourself time to just move your body a bit and just have a moment to yourself, especially like with our phones and our laptops and everything, and especially in this lockdown, to give yourself even 15 minutes to just breathe and sit and give thanks for being here in the moment, and thanks for the body that you have, whatever shape or form, is just very, very good for you. And it's like that thing, I feel like a lot of people give up on it quickly because they either think, oh shit, I can't do the moves, or they feel like they're just going to do one session and then they're going to feel amazing and then realize they don't. It's about just watering your garden 15 minutes a day, like your mental garden. Just do a bit every day. And if you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Just try and keep up with it as much as you can. And it will do absolute wonders.
Yeah, 100%. And like, my top tip for this like whole little segment is like, find the video for you. Like in the first lockdown, I feel like I was doing videos that I really liked, but it wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to stretch out my lower back, and like find certain poses. Like I did that like lower back, hips and legs, but then there was like 2 poses I knew that I loved, which she didn't do in that one, which I found through like other videos, and then I'd just do those at the end.
Exactly.
Like, and then I was just looking forward to it so much.
Yeah, exactly. And what I found with her as well is like, once you've done her series enough, for example, I do the neck one every day pretty much, you then don't need her. So you can follow along with her if you want, or you could just put on some really cool music or some music you're into, like fucking, I don't know, hardcore rock and roll if you wanted to, and just do a little bit of yoga to it, you know?
This is actually where I'm going to plug, just because you said that, I've actually got a yoga playlist, so here you go, lads.
That's the playlist of the week. We haven't even decided it yet. Sick.
No, I know.
Yoga and spiritual practice playlist. Perfect. Woo. And I was going to say as well, we'll put Yoga with Adrian, her channel, in the bio so you can find it easily, and if it speaks to you, very much recommend it.
100%.
So yeah, she's really good. Another person that I use for mindfulness is Deepak Chopra. You know, the guy that works with Oprah?
I think so. You've definitely spoken to me. He's like an older
Indian man, and his voice is like so soothing. His accent's just beautiful, very like that kind of Indian accent that's just very like honey to your ears, you know? And he takes you through meditations, and I think it's like £68 for the year, but there's so much free content on there that you don't have to pay for, so you don't even have to subscribe.
Oh, that's
and
good.
He has an app and does like series, like a 21-day meditation journey, and it will be about confidence or blah blah blah, and you just listen to them and just meditate along, and it has a countdown as well, so it's not like you're sat there going, oh, I have to check the time. Really, really good.
That's so good.
And whenever I do them, instantly afterwards, I'm just like, everything's okay.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I think like if anyone's listening and they haven't really explored spirituality or kind of self-care in this respect, maybe we should talk about how we've kind of got into it.
Okay, yeah.
So for me, my mum is obviously very kind of staple in this situation. She brought me up on really healthy food, really like taught me how to take care of myself very young. She took me to like children's yoga when I was about 4 or 5.
That's so cute.
Really cute. And I remember we had to wear like animal masks and like we'd do like downward dog and stuff. It'd be really simple.
Oh my God.
But so it's always kind of been there. And then as I got older, she kind of introduced me to things such as angel cards and the tarot and kind of all of these tools that help you to listen to your intuition a bit better. So that's kind of how I've got into it. And I've never really been religious. Like I've been open to it or just agnostic, so not knowing really what I believe in. But I've never clicked with a religion, especially Christianity, because I think the fundamentals of Christianity are really beautiful. Like if you go, it's like strip to the basics, like love your neighbor and you know, we've got to look after each other. But then in the Bible there's a lot of crazy stuff in there as well, which are just stories really, I believe, that people then when they take literally can cause a lot of harm. So the basics of Christianity are really beautiful, and they're basically the basics of all religion, is just take care of each other and be a good person. But I've never clicked with kind of the storyline of any of religions. So for me, my kind of religion, if you want to say, is just believing in the world and energy. So whatever you put out, you're going to get back, or whatever you put out that you want, you're going to attract it in if you really believe and put your mind on something, because the mind is so powerful. So yeah, so my spirituality or religion is basically looking after myself, giving absolute gratitude for everything we have, and just being good to other people no matter how they treat you.
That was so nice to listen to. I feel like that was like a lullaby, and I'm like, oh, beautiful.
Welcome to my TED Talk. Yeah. How about you?
That's so cool. So I don't know really. Like when I was little, the primary school I went to was like Roman Catholic, so we like prayed all the time. We went to church on our road. And I wasn't baptised, but obviously they have to let like a percentage of non-religious kids into
Satan
school,
kids in. The satanic kids.
Children.
No
God,
donuts.
People are going to take proper offence.
No donuts at Catholic school.
No, this nun we used to have called, I don't even know what she was called, Sister something, but she used to give us, after like our RE lessons, she used to give us all like one little cola bottle sweet. And it was just, she was like the cutest woman in the world. But yeah, so we had church, and I wasn't baptised and I wasn't christened. And then the follow on from that primary school was like really heavily like Roman Catholic. It was a really good school as well. And my mum like went to my primary school, and it was tiny, my primary school. And our priest had just changed within the last like 2 years. We'd had the same priest for like years and years and years. And he just wasn't as nice as the last one. Like the last one, you just couldn't beat him. He was amazing. And then this guy, like mum was like, we want to get Grace baptised and christened. And looking back on it, like it was mainly just for me to get into this good school. It wasn't because of belief, which obviously, you know, my mum's probably like, probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, it's so common though.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so he then said like his own terms were that my mum and my mum's partner, who they'd been together for like at least 4 years, and they had my little sister together, that they had to be married. Those were his terms. And like my mum can't afford to just get married for me to be baptised and christened. And so then my mum was just like, no. And then because she wasn't like severely bothered, and there was a high chance of me getting into the secondary school without having that, we just kind of like left it, because he just really was taking the piss. And
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, then I like didn't get into that secondary school, but I'm quite glad, like, you know, everything happens for a reason.
We wouldn't have had a banging second episode if you had. You wouldn't have ever appreciated Chicken Burger Day. It would be like Fish and Wine Day. Like Jesus' bread and, was it bread and wine? The bread of Christ.
The bread and the wine, yeah.
Bread of Christ Day. All the kids are like batting each other out of the way to get the bread of like the body of Christ.
I wasn't allowed it because I wasn't baptised or christened. They just put the water on my forehead like that. I never tried
like,
it.
No food for you, mate.
No bread of Christ?
Yeah. No body of Christ? All the kids are like drunk off their tits off of like wine, communion wine.
Stop. Yeah, my dad's always been like into like really different religions. He has like been Yahweh. He converted to he was a Muslim at one point, changed his name and everything for his wife that he married at the time. He converted to Judaism. He's now kind of just always for a while gone back and forth to Buddhism, and I think that is his like staple, and that's really what he believes in, because my dad is so like peace and love, dude. It's the energy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah, so I feel like I don't know if it's my dad's kind of like spiritual ways, or if it's like more of his Guyanese upbringing that's like love everybody, Irie, one love, you know, that kind of thing. So
yeah,
my like, not religion as such, but it would definitely come from that, in the respect of like you call everybody auntie and uncle, like one love, like just like be kind to one another.
I think, yeah, exactly. All of these things, as I was saying before, are just different ways to express the same belief system. So like believing in God as like a male figure sat on a cloud, and then also just believing in the gift of the universe is essentially the same thing, just in a different way. And for example, like you say, if your dad's dabbled in different religions, he's probably found a lot of crossover and kind of the same principles from each one. It's just it is basically just finding the core of why you believe we're alive, and then finding your specific outlet to connect with that.
Yeah.
But I think essentially they're all the same kind of thing. It's all about believing in something greater than us, appreciating that, respecting that, and acknowledging that we as human beings are all part of that same thing, which is why we have to be kind to each other, because we're all connected, and you know, we are the universe. We've got stars inside of us.
Why do you want to go and put stars in their eyes?
On this kind of note of us talking about that and me mentioning my dad, I think at the end of this episode I'll insert this voice note that he sent to like me and Jemima when he watched the first episode of the podcast. It was just so cute. It was just like peace and love. So yeah, I'm gonna insert that because it was just adorable.
Yeah, he's really cool, your dad.
Okay, yeah, sorry, what you saying?
Just felt me that you came across like naturalists, you know, like real people, you know, you know, like a lot of media, they get on the media and it's so much plastic because they're all fucking glamour, right? You're not doing the glamour thing too much. You're doing more of the boasty side, but not more of the glamour side. Yeah?
Boasty,
like headstrong women. Yeah, boasty. Like not taking no fucking no soldiers, not handy-pandy, but at the same time like a free-spirited, kind of light-hearted kind of vibe. I want that will have its own audience, yeah, because it's a realist kind of scene, yeah.
Yeah, we hope so.
Keep the topics correct and don't be false pretenders. You should be all right.
Sweet. Any other tips?
Famous. Even if you get famous, don't become false pretenders.
Any other tips?
Love everyone and help everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Not fucking argue with anyone, really. Especially the old and the young.
Yeah, one love, pops.
One love, that's it. You know what I mean? And that's the way forward.
That was good, deep. We didn't smoke, I promise you. It's not 420. So maybe we should talk about kind of how you interact with your belief system.
Okay.
So, for example, like we were saying at the beginning, yoga and connecting with yourself, and meditating and giving yourself time to just sit and think in peace.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you're going to find all the answers to your problems. You're never going to find the answer to your problem in another human being or a job or buying a car or buying a house or like doing a certain hobby. Like, you'll get a bit of gratification for a small bit because that's what you enjoy. But if you're truly trying to find an answer to a problem or you're feeling some sort of way that you want resolved, the only way you're really going to figure that out is by sitting on your lonesome and taking the time to think about it. Your intuition and your mind is so powerful that you just need to give yourself space and time to think about what's wrong. And the answers, I know it's so cliche, but they are all inside of you.
That's a good way to put it, mate.
So all of these things that we're about to talk about, such as tarot cards and crystals and all this kind of hippie stuff,
Ooh.
they're basically just the actual cards and the actual crystals. They haven't got like an embodiment of power that they're just going to give you the answer and talk to you or anything crazy like that. It's about listening to yourself and seeing how it presents itself throughout these mediums. This is a wild episode, bro.
This is wild. You do sound high. You sure you not smoked something?
I ain't smoked nothing, sir. No smoke? Yesterday,
all my troubles seem so far away.
The sun is in Taurus. So I don't really know that much about astrology, guys. Like, I'm just kind of interested in it. So, do not take my word as gospel. But if the sun's in Taurus, I believe that's the sun represents the way we think about things. So if it's in Taurus as a collective, kind of the energy is going to be very grounded. You might feel like your pace is slowing down quite a lot. Like, usually we're always rushing through everything and like rushing through decisions. But I've definitely found in the past 24 hours, 40 hours, whatever you want to say, I've been more careful about my decision making and more reflective on why I've made certain decisions this week. And Taurus is a very meticulous sign. They'll take time over things and they'll do things properly. So if you find yourself going a bit slower, don't get annoyed at it. Just know that it's the sun in Taurus. And the moon's about to go into Leo. So my placement in my birth chart, my moon is in Leo, and so is Amber's. And the moon is how you think, feel about things and how you express your emotion. And once me and her read our charts in compatibility, and we were like, that makes so much sense as to why things happen to us the exact same all the time. Like her and my timelines of when events happen, and like really random niche events, they always happen at the same time. And so that was crazy. So expect to see like some big egos pop up.
Ooh. And
you might feel a bit more like you want to show off, or you want to like make yourself look really sexy this week. With the
when
moon
is
in
this,
Leo.
sorry?
So the moon, yesterday the moon was about to go into Leo, so that might be today.
And how long are we in do we know roughly how long we're in a moon for?
No, I don't know. See, I told you I don't really know much about it. I just kind of know qualities of planets and signs.
What is your star sign?
My star sign. We'll give people... Okay, I'm going to say 4 qualities, guys. We'll play a game and we'll count you down 5 seconds and you can guess what I am, and we'll see if you get it at home. So, I am very passionate. Apparently the sexiest of the ZODIAC. What can I say? I've got a long tether, but when I snap and I'm pissed and I'm pissed, I get pissed. I'm scary, like.
She is a bit like scary.
I see through people's shit.
You want to have seen her at the BLM march. She was not taking no prisoners, mate. I'm telling you.
Do you want to tell them what happened?
Yeah. So we were at the march. We went to the one in Brighton. It was beautiful. It was like peaceful protest. It was literally like, I know this is so crazy, but it was like the best day of my life, like ever, of my whole life. Like, it was just so like grounding, and yeah, it was just amazing. But that's for another time. And there's this old lady like crossing through us, and how many people were there? Hundreds
it was like
of thousands.
100,000 people.
There was at least like there was so like this like parade went on for so long, and yeah, she kind of like cut through all of us, which is fair enough because
she barged you out the way.
But she barged me out the way. Go on, you tell it, because you know I'm shit at telling stories.
You tell it.
I can't remember it word for word, and I know you're gonna correct me, so go.
Okay, she barged Grace out the way, and I'm usually like, if I see something on the street, I have a bit of an inner conflict, and I'm like, oh, do I step in or not? But like, we were so into this, like we were already like an hour into this march, and it was just crazy. I've never been in a protest before, and then to have something that's so important, and seeing how many people come together after not seeing anyone throughout the lockdown, and then realizing how many people believed in fucking basic human rights for people. And so I was riled up. I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, you were crying, blah blah blah. And then this old hag pushes Grace out the way in front of me, barges her out the way, not like she's trying to get through a crowd, like, oh excuse me, barges her out the way, right? Bearing in mind, old white lady, my best friend who's mixed race, at a very important day for her. And I just saw red. I saw red. And Aaron, you might have to bleep some of this, but I went, no, she barged you out the way, and she went, yeah, but all lives matter, don't they? And like,
I remember that.
I was like looking at everyone and like tutting and like talking to herself, and I went, educate yourself, you racist. Screamed at her in the face. I was like, educate your self. I was like,
I can't.
And then I just looked at my friend, and I was just like, the fuck happened? And everyone was just
where
like,
did
oh
that come
my
from?
God. So,
And there was these girls in front of us, and they were both Caucasian from what I could see. Could have been mixed race, I'm not sure. And they looked at the lady after that happened, and kind of like backed us up as well. And they were like, no lives matter until Black Lives Matter! Like, screamed. And I was just like, you bitches take it from here, because I'm just going to take a seat in the deck chair, mate.
Yeah, we weren't having it. So, yeah, I've got a long tether, but when it snaps, or if you hurt someone I love, like, you've crossed me. Like, there's been situations before when I've had a friend and they fucked with my friends. I don't even give a shit what they've done to me, but if they've messed with people I love, I'm like... That was my gun impression. So yeah, so I'm passionate, apparently the sexiest, you make of that what you will. I've got a temper, but it takes a long time to snap, and I see through people's bullshit. And last of all, I am a natural born leader, so I can command a situation quite well if I want to.
I reckon you can. I reckon that's true.
4, 3, 2, 1. She's a Scorpio!
She's a Scorpio! That wasn't even planned.
Well done if you guessed at home. Alright, your turn.
I mean, everyone knows what I am.
Yeah, but some people you've never met that listen to our podcast.
I feel like you know my traits better than me.
I can't do the whole podcast by myself.
Mate, I'm adaptable, okay? Mm-hmm. Adaptable is like our main trait, like we're chameleons, okay? I don't know, what are the others? I can't think off the top of my head. Let me have a look.
Two-faced, but not always in a bitchy way. It's like you've got two sides of yourself.
It's like, more split personality.
Yep. Not like I'm going to go and tell someone what you said behind your back, two-faced.
Yeah. It's more like bipolar. 1 minute I'll have this view. The next minute I'll have that view kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
quite indecisive, apparently, which I don't know. I probably am in some respects.
I think you are in the way that, like, you won't sit there and make a decision over something. But, for example, if you go to Wagamama's, because you know what you like, you won't decide another option. So that's kind of indecisive in its own right. Do you know what I mean?
That's true. I should have fucking
You're
read
the best
up.
communicators of the ZODIAC. You're really good with words.
Yeah. A chilliness and detachment to emotion created by their air element and certain nature.
Not that you're not emotional, but like you see the logic more up before the emotion, so then you're just like, oh, well, yeah, that hurt, but logically I'm just going to get over it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Kind of like I can control my emotions. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not just going to be like, don't get me wrong, sometimes things hurt or things piss you off, so you act in a certain way, but normally I step back from the situation. I'm like, okay, I can't react like this because let me maybe go around it this way, kind of thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She's a Gemini! Guys, I just want to explain this. I can't even remember how did we even come about this the other day?
It was the memoji.
Oh yeah, I was choosing my memoji for one of our Instagram podcast posts, and I was like I was saying to Jemima how I like the one that's like angry, like in a strop, like oh yeah, great, and we were talking about donuts for some reason, and I was like, no donuts,
So now if you see our flashy new Biana, our flashy, it's because I just restart. If you see our flashy new banner on the old YouTube, then you can see no donuts. And I'm like, no donuts.
That's so good. Can I just take 2 seconds to just do a little segment in this?
Yeah. Segment time. Grace's segment time.
Incoming news alert. Derek Chauvin has been acquitted of all charges.
I watched the video of the family reaction and I cried my eyes out. His sister.
So did I.
And incredible.
Yeah. I just earlier spoke to my nan that I live with, and she said that her and Grandad stayed up to watch it, and she was like, that was just like insane. Yeah,
it's amazing, and I've seen a lot of commentary on it saying it's not justice, it's accountability for police action, and it feels like we've just started crossing the start line.
Yeah,
like, this
it's
isn't
like
the
the
end.
first step.
And I watched the it was on this morning the program. They interviewed 2 members of his family. I think one was his cousin and I can't remember the other relation. They're like 2 older guys. And the way they were talking about it was just very spiritual as well, which is an amazing tie-in to this episode. They I feel like what's his name on this morning, Philip
Schofield.
Yeah, he was just being like very white, you know. He was just like asking questions that like you could tell were just a bit like provoking in a way, like he just wanted the juice. He was like, and he asked one of the guys who was called Roger, I believe, and he was like, well, how do you feel about Derek Chauvin as a man? Like, how do you feel? And it was obviously like, he obviously wanted a reaction that was just like, oh, I hate him, like he murdered my family member, whatever. But the way Roger replied was just absolutely beautiful. He was just like, I think this is a man who's made a terrible mistake, and he's gonna learn actions do have a massive consequence. And he just said that he's a religious man in his own right, Roger, and he was just basically saying so relieved to see that George is getting the justice he deserves, and that hopefully Derek will have the time to reflect on this like horrible murder. Basically, it was a very gentle really response that had no anger in it, that was still to the point that this is exactly what this horrible murderer deserves. But there's kind of, I don't know, there was kind of a beauty in the piece of the delivery, and I think that just speaks for the whole thing, is like this whole issue was based on something that should have been peaceful. Like, you can see it's obviously in George's family that they're just peaceful people. To then face that brutality has been crazy. And then to continue with that inner strength of not hating towards a murderer who's killed a member of your family, and to just deliver that strength when you're on mainstream TV while some white man's trying to provoke you, was incredible. It was incredible. So if you ever get a chance to, we'll link that down below as well. Really good interview. And obviously, as a white person, I can't even begin to imagine what kind of the feeling is between black communities when you hear of these things happening day in, day out. And in the same video, they said between, like I think it was minutes before Derek got his decision made for him, 2 more black people had been killed innocently at like petrol stations, etc. So yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, nice, good job, guys. The justice system.
Well done. I'm hoping it's, the start of many, and not just, I mean, now that they've done this, they can't really go back on that system, do you know what I mean? So hopefully they see that and we're onto something.
For real. And what was interesting for me, kind of my takeaway point from it as well, was that I think it was Roger again that said, if this hadn't been filmed on like clear video, this wouldn't have been taken seriously. And I think with technology in the modern age and the continuous development of technology, things like this are going to be so difficult for the police to get away with ever so as years go on, which is a pretty incredible thing. It's so like tragic that it has to be proved on video for the victims to be believed. But hopefully with the development of that, things can get like less sketchy, I guess.
For sure.
What's your take on it?
I don't know. I gave so much energy to that whole situation, and I still will, do you know what I mean, without like a shadow of a doubt. But it just feels nice to kind of, like, the fight's not over, and that is the main point of this whole situation, but it just feels nice to like take a breather for a second.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I really hope that like other black people feel like that. Because I just remember the emotion like going around, swirling around in my head when the whole BLM movement started. And it just wasn't nice. Like, I was just in like a really weird place, and I spoke to like some friends, and it's just not nice. Also, the Asian hate crimes at the moment are awful. They are disgusting. And my best friend is born and grew up until she was like 6 in Thailand. And we got a message from her on the group chat just saying like, please support this cause, like when this was BLM, like you all had a voice, like please don't stop now, which I really appreciated. Like, a lot of people would take that message and just be like, I am supporting it, but like that's not the way to respond. I literally was like, thank you for like bringing that to my attention. I can definitely do more. Just please be aware of how you react to people, because like that's not so where I'm mixed race, I'm not really technically Asian at all, like slightest percentage from way back when, but like just to be able to relate on like a human level of decency and just love, like just know what to say, where if your friends want to pull you up on something and they do it in a respectful way and they're not mean or rude, like don't get offended and try not to be so closed off. Like I know when the BLM thing happened, like Jemima, like you and a few of my friends were literally just like, I want to know how I can do better, I want to know what I can change, like how can I help, what shall I share. Like it was just like amazing. Like I couldn't have asked for like a better support system. So obviously I'm just so pleased that this whole George Floyd case is like now kind of done. And hopefully we can they can serve more justice in America, and especially for England, there's so much work to do here as well.
And it's kind of hidden in England, the racism. Oh, we're not racist, blah, blah, blah.
100%.
It's intrinsically in our psyche, unfortunately. So, Breonna Taylor next as well, hopefully. Justice for black women. It's gonna, 100%. I think it's gonna start a domino effect. I hope it does. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I think you're right about saying it from the flip side, from a white person's perspective. I remember when the Black Lives thing started circulating around social media, and we were doing the black squares, and one of my friends commented on my thing because I had like the wrong hashtag, because I didn't understand that it was trying to like censor out. Do you remember like a certain hashtag? Black Lives, I think it was hashtag Black Lives Matter. It was like the hashtag was censoring out all of the posts. Do you remember? And my
Blackout
friend commented.
Tuesday.
Yeah. So my friend commented and was like, "Oh, please change the hashtag because this is censoring." And I just said, "Oh yeah, of course, like I'll change it and put some other like information out there." And she messaged me again, and she was just like, "You're one of the first people that hasn't turned around and like had a go at me or like had their ego hurt about it." And I think that just says a lot. Obviously, I'm not a perfect white person. I'm still doing as much as I can to educate and learn. But like Grace said, the best thing you can do as a privileged person in this situation is to just listen and accept and not take it personally. Because
Definitely.
You're just making it worse if you're taking it personally, and it just shows your privilege. So yeah, there's tons of resources out there, and just ask. Obviously, be sensitive if you have people that are close to you of different ethnicities. Like for example, Grace is my best friend. If I wanted to know something about the BLM movement or anything, I could just very easily ask her a question. She wouldn't. I'm speaking for you. Wouldn't.
It's fine. Carry on.
Be upset or annoyed, but you can't just be going and asking random people, because it is triggering and it is labouring for people to sometimes talk about something that's so tragic in their community. So like reach out to the people you're comfortable with, and if someone's just like, I don't want to talk about that, respect that. But there are so many resources out there that you can just use and learn about. And for example, when we were doing the march, one of my friends was like, "Oh, you can't say that chant," and it was the "I can't breathe" chant, and I hadn't even considered the fact that it's not appropriate for a white person to say that chant, because it doesn't represent anything if I say it. It's for the rest of the black community to say, I can't breathe. It's their thing. And it's just like all these tiny little things that we like you don't really think about, but it's so important to know. So just keep asking questions and keep doing your best, basically, from my perspective.
Definitely. There's some really cool Instagrams out there. And I think I'll make a post actually, and I'll put it on our podcast account, of just like really good like organisation Instagram accounts that let you know about the political news that isn't publicised, like racism, you know, like poverty. Like you've got that Instagram called Change without an A, and like that's so much information. So yeah, that I think that would be a really good thing for everyone to kind of have a look at.
There's also, to add to that list as well, I don't know if you follow it, and I can't remember the exact account, but the whole point of the account is to like it simplifies politics for you. So obviously when something comes out in the news and it says like, oh, this and this happened, I don't think many people, like myself, I definitely don't quite grasp what that means. So this account kind of simplifies what's going on and explains like how that will impact different people. So that one's a really good one as well. That's
so cool.
So this is a really, really interesting episode. Oh, I was going to say as well, I believe on our link tree, which is on our Instagram that takes you to YouTube, Spotify, wherever you want to go playlist, there's a pop-up that comes up that will take you to places where you can donate to Black Lives.
That's so cool.
So you can always check that out as well. But I think, white people, if you're listening, we'd be nothing without black people. So you pay your respects, please. Pay your respects.
Okay, Mum.
You wouldn't have music. You wouldn't have so many other things. So you better. You fucking. We all owe you one. We owe you one big time.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of time left.
Yeah.
That was a little bit of a nice tangent we went on, to be honest.
Yeah, very important, and it links very nicely to kind of mental health and taking care of yourself, because especially with these big ass topics circulating social media at the moment, I saw this weird numerology thing. So basically this astrologer was talking about numerology, and basically, to simplify something that's really complicated, there are 9 life path numbers, and each one represents something different. And you can work out which life path number we're on by adding the date. So 2020 was 2 + 0 + 2 + 0, which is 4. And 4, if I remember correctly, is the year of like conflict and unearthing all the problems that need to be fixed. And then 5, which is 2021, is supposed to be the year of freedom and resolution. So that makes sense why we went through a lot of fucking shit last year, because COVID happened, BLM happened, women's safety, which was kind of crossing into this year, the Asian hate.
Yeah.
We
had so many deaths.
So, like, there was a big emphasis on global warming. That kind of thing got unearthed. So that makes a lot of sense that last year was pretty crazy, and, you know, we're trying to figure out how to fix it this year. But yeah, whilst all of this stuff is circulating, and, you know, there's a lot to give our attention and our energy to, which we have to if we want to develop, you also need to take time for yourself as well to kind of balance that out. I mean, going into the BLM as just a human being was exhausting for me, so I can't even imagine how exhausting it was for people who really, really feel kind of the pain of that community and what they have to go through.
My hat goes off to all the people that were like people like myself. I wasn't really able to, because obviously I have a job, which I wasn't volunteering at the time. When you have like more of a political job, you're able to do things like that. People could have taken last minute holiday, just like people could have just said, fuck you, I'm going to a march, fair enough. But my hats properly go off to just people that were just protesting every day. There was just so many marches, and like there was people literally travelling miles from one like town to like a bloody city. Like, yeah, it's just
in
like,
the height of a pandemic.
I commend you guys.
Oh, you did it as well.
Thanks.
It was beautiful. So obviously, I think my point that I was going around to is that when these big events happen, like, it is draining for the average human being, and then for someone that's actually quite a big part of the movement, like, how do I word this? Like, you're going to feel it more personally than I do. Just because it hits closer to home. So when all of this stuff was going on, there was a lot of intensity over social media. What kind of self-care things were you doing to kind of balance that out, or to just make sure you were okay?
I think, like, to just literally kind of what you basically just said is not go on social media for a little while. Like, when I was working, I'd spend my whole lunch scrolling, and I would just get so upset, and I'd just like be crying. I remember I was at work once and I literally just went to the toilet and just cried, because I was just like, this is just so mental, like, and you almost feel like helpless, and you know what you can do, and you're doing all you can, you're sharing, you're using your voice, you're donating, like, you're going to whatever marches you can, but you're still then like, you still don't feel in like the midst of it.
Especially when it was in America, like, mostly. Exactly,
because I was just kind of like, I want to be there. I want to be there. I want to be sleeping on the streets, camping outside these police stations, like, just all of this kind of stuff. And then I'd come home, and I think I still did go on it for a little bit, but I had to switch off in the end. And I think a key point for me as well was when there was all these graphic videos going about of just like black people being beaten, maced, tasered, shot, killed.
Without trigger warnings as well, so it's just popping up.
Yeah, I just was kind of like, I'd read the comment section, and if I'd like read a little bit and I knew kind of what was going on, I just wouldn't watch it, because that was what was triggering me the most, were the videos of being able to actually see what was happening. Because it was just real life, do you know what I mean? That's how I kind of like switched off.
Okay, and did you do any kind of like any practices? Did you like prayer? Did you turn to anything?
I turned to my friends, like, I remember the group chat was constantly popping off. We were talking about it a lot. Me and you would send stuff to each other. But other than that, not particularly. Like, obviously, like I said, I tried to do the yoga thing, and at that point in time it just wasn't for me. I was going through like some really bad anxiety, so I wasn't really getting out the house much, which probably just made the whole situation 10 times worse.
Right, but like getting the courage to go out, or getting the courage to do yoga or something, is really difficult when you're in a low mental state, so I completely understand that.
But yeah, just again, like, my spiritualism, I feel like more comes from with my friends and communicating with the people I love. Do you know what I mean?
Community, like very family, that kind of like, community energy. Yeah. Is where you feel grounded and you kind of get to reset.
Exactly.
That's really cool. So it literally just ties into what I was saying at the beginning. It's like all these things such as Catholicism, Christianity, Hinduism, just being spiritual, and even just having a community of people that you love, it's all the same thing, you know? Your religion will be having your community and giving thanks for them and sharing love and, you know, figuring out who you are through having a community rather than figuring out who you are through turning to a god. Yeah. It's all about figuring out who you are, basically. And we all 100%. Know the answer. We are all the same, and we're all the earth. But there's so many more things to learn about ourselves as unique beings, having this human experience that you have to figure out in some sort of way. And that's really cool that it's through a community of other people. I can expect that to be challenging, though. You get a lot of challenges there, right?
Yeah. I don't really know what to say to that. I feel like from that conversation I'm just like
right, we weren't planning to get onto that, but what a day to celebrate.
Definitely.
I just definitely, like, as a white person, I could never imagine inflicting harm on anyone else because they were different to me. So to see that that was literally the cold-hearted reason why that tragic murder happened. It's baffling. So we got to do our best and, you know, just understand that people are important, whatever they look like or wherever they come from. Yeah. That sounded very All Lives Matter-y. It wasn't supposed to be.
No, but what you're trying to say is just one love.
One love.
That's it.
We're all the same on the inside.
Mhm.
Essentially.
Exactly.
And I promise you, we haven't been smoking.
This is actually such a beautiful chat.
You think so? Sometimes I get quite nervous speaking about race because obviously, like I said, like as a white person, I have so much to learn. But that is one thing that I've learned is that you have to have the conversation and you have to fuck up in order to do the right thing. So if I've said anything during this podcast that's upset anyone, I'm really sorry. Like, please feel free. My DMs are always open if there was something that you think I can improve on during this chat. It's not really my conversation to have, which is why I think when I talk about it a lot, it can feel a bit self-absorbed, but I think, I feel passionate about it. So it's a kind of grey area whether you talk about it or not. Does that make sense?
I'm just happy you're passionate about it, and like I just couldn't be more happy about like how you've helped me through the situation and like just how you supported me.
I'm gonna cry.
Just
We're gonna be.
I'm actually gonna cry.
Yeah, I've got like tears in my eyes.
There was this bit in the march. I'm gonna touch on it. Hopefully, I can like fucking not fucking cry. And it was with you and Ams, and we went with a couple of your other friends as well. And we obviously all had masks on. It really made a fucking difference, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And we were all kind of like, I think we were like maybe holding hands or trying to, because we were just like, you know, about scattered. Mm-hmm. And I think it was you, Jemima, that looked at me and you were like, this is your day. And I just, my heart, I just literally... It was just so beautiful. Stop, because it's not funny.
I'm not laughing, I'm crying.
Oh my god.
I love you so much.
I love you so much. Oh my god, you're my best friend.
You're my best friend. Jesus Christ.
And it was just so beautiful. And I remember like when we were all dueling when we were all like doing the kneel for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and just absolutely everybody that mattered at that point. Trayvon Martin from 2010, I'm not even sure. It was ages ago. And I was so overwhelmed that I was just crying at my eyes out, and no one noticed, but I was just so happy. It wasn't that I was sad, I just wanted to take in the moment.
It was overwhelming.
It was just, like, I remember speaking to a friend about this online, like a few weeks ago, and I just said there's no other words for that march apart from beautiful. Like, there's no word for it. It was like, it was just out of this world. Like, it was just...
Yeah, I think like it's you have to be part of it to understand what it feels like, and I think it just goes full circle to that spirituality thing that I was talking about. When we were there was around 100,000 people. Everyone chanted at the same time. There was silence at the same time. Like, there was nothing controlling that crowd apart from everyone working together. Like, to get 100,000 people to be silent without telling them to be silent, like, that is a very, very powerful thing to happen, and it just confirms that we are all the same thing. We're all trying to do the same thing and live the same life. Like, as a baby, when you grow up, you all want to be happy. You don't want to be in pain. And sadly, when you get a bit older, things happen to you where you feel like pain is is what you deserve, and then that's what you attract. But when you all stand for something really positive and you all want the same thing, and for everyone to be at peace and to be to have right to their life, which is what this whole fucking BLM thing's about, is like everyone has a right to live their life freely and safely and wholeheartedly.
Exactly.
So yeah, we ended this podcast crying our eyes out. We were supposed to be doing like tarot cards and like crystals, but I think that just affirms that it's not about the kind of aesthetic spirituality and doing your moon ritual, whatever. If that helps your mental health, great, but you need to work on yourself in whatever way that turns out for you, that works, and you need to look after other people and fight for what you fucking believe in.
Yeah,
and
you tell them, girl.
That's our religion, ain't it, Grace?
That's our religion. Community, energy, love.
Everything.
Everything is everything, Irie.
I think we can wrap up there. Like, that was a heavy one, and but yeah, cute. If anyone's got any questions, like, please feel free to message us and
slide into the DMs. And like, this was just like the tip of the iceberg of a chat we can have about race, culture, spirituality, love, freedom. Exactly. And we do still want to touch on, you know, tarot's such a fun topic. I was so excited for that, but I'm so happy that we discussed what we did today.
Maybe we do
so
some
we'll definitely
soon. Like, I think we've done 2 serious ones now, so next week is going to be a lot more fun. I think we're kind of going to touch on self-identity and how, like, expression, like fashion and makeup, and so that's going to be a fun one. Fashion, because we're going to make past. And we can do some tarot and stuff there, but yeah, that was amazing. I'm so proud of you. I believe in you, everything you do. You're the most gorgeous, beautiful person. I'm so lucky to have a sister like you. So, and
I just love you so much. It's the love for me.
It's the love for me.
It's the love for me.
So thank you if you've listened to all of it, because it was really important. I hope it didn't seem like I was talking over you this whole time, because I feel like I've been rambling, but
no, I feel like this episode, it was nice to just kind of like take a bit of a seat. I know I was a little bit quiet about some things, but yeah, it was just nice to listen for a moment. I want to be the audience.
I mean, I don't know if I have anything that important to say, but that was my take on current events and spirituality. So I think to end this, a little bit of advice would be, learn to love yourself. It's a very fucking long journey. We're all on it till the very end, but just try. Say nice things to yourself in the mirror. Do a skincare routine. Make sure you're drinking water. Move your body. Don't watch loads of dark things on social media for a long period of time. Fight for what you believe in. Look after your health. Look after your friends. And one love.
You're beautiful. One love.
Peace and love.
Guys. Bye.
Bye.
I'm saying come through, you know.
Oh, that's what you want.